Tre, de, un. Yo, yo, yo. The long awaited return is here. We are excited to be back. I know it's been a minute. We got some catching up to do. We got some real updates. We got sports that's flown right by without us being there for y'all. We know. But we did watch. We did make sure to catch up so we can catch y'all up. And we got to get back with the community. You know, like we said, we got to be consistent, and we shall. First and foremost, we got to welcome Reek back.
Reek, welcome back. He's alive.
My boy was really down and out. If you guys have any suggestions in terms of immune system, you know what I mean? Any kind of like good, remedies y'all got, to keep that immune system healthy and keep you out of that sick bed, let us know. My boy Reek needs it. This past year has been getting him. And COVID is still out there. So you guys be careful on the COVID front for sure. Mitch, how are you, though? We're going to do our little check-in as we always do. So take time. If you are with somebody, do the same. But Mitch, how are you doing? What's going on? Tell the people.
Man, things have been good. So much been going on in sports. We got the end of the baseball season going on.
Yeah.
The football season just starting. A lot of games been going to. I know I'm going to the A's and the Yankees game tomorrow. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, man, just everything's been going good at work. So I'm happy to be here, be back with our boy Reek, back with you over here talking sports, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm on that master's journey, so it's kind of kicking my butt, and just making sure that I maintain kind of the schedule that I want outside of school, just to ensure I keep going to the gym, do things that I was doing prior that I feel like could easily fall off the table. And so, I did have one day this week where it was just impossible to get it done. And I was really like mad at myself for just not getting more sleep. I really kind of I did myself in for that one. And we're learning, but I'm too old. Like
we're not in our 20s anymore.
Exactly.
Like them long nighters to early 20s.
Bro, and so like it's just funny going back into being a student, still working the kinks out, getting it done. But like excited to do that work and excited to be a part of the community down there in Emeryville to try to like boost up the youth, like we've always, always been a part of that, So I'm excited to continue that journey. But it's tiring. You know what I mean? And other than that, though, I've been making sure to add some fun in on the weekends. And these sports have kept me so entertained that it always seems like there's something new to watch or something else to catch up on. So without further ado, we're going to make sure that we start strong with this news. And we'll make sure that throughout we have nothing but hard hitters. So without any more yipping and yapping, we're going to jump into the NFL.
Let's go. Football is back, baby.
I'll let you warm it up with the Raiders. You guys were hyping. You and Reek was over here jumping out the window for it. So why don't we let you guys warm it up, warm the engines up. What's going on with the Raiders? How you feeling? Obviously, you guys are 1-1, but just came off a very, very impressive victory via the Baltimore Ravens. Man, Lamar can't, just not willing to handle business when business needs to be handled, and Raiders capitalizing. How do you feel about what's going on? What are some of the pros so far that you've seen, and maybe some cons, that you feel like we can clean this up and get a little better?
I mean, nice little clap up for them Raiders, man. Got a nice win against them, 26-24. Ravens kind of just bobbled it out of their hands. They really didn't step up. They had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and we just somehow came back. We squeezed it out, but we desperately needed that game. I mean, we're 1-1. The Chargers game did not go well offensively at all, and you could tell the defense got frustrated towards the end of the game, and you saw some pushing and shoving going on after the play. So it was really nice to see the offense come around and give us a nice win. Defense is always going to hold it down as long as the offense can stay on the field for just a little bit. And it seems like the recipe, which should have been obvious from the get-go, is pass the ball to Brock Bowers and pass the ball to Devontae Adams and stop giving it to Zamir White. Because, damn, you ain't going nowhere. That's been our biggest struggle on the offensive side. Gardner Minshew is doing all he can, but when you're starting running backs getting like 2.4 yards a game or a carry, you're not going to get nowhere. That's not even a first down. So we need better, or not a touchdown or first down after 4 plays. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Of course.
But it's just like, man, they need to step it up in the backfield. Madison's been holding it down for us, but we need Zamir White to be able to get in between the tackles to loosen up that defensive line so that everybody's trying to come in and support, and we can open up lanes for the wide receivers. And again, Brock Bowers holding it down, top tight end in fantasy, top tight end in the league right now, especially with all the injuries I've been having in with the tight ends. So it's really nice to see him step up and really show why, hey, he should have been probably taken higher, and some of these teams were just like, whatever, a tight end, we'll let that go. But this guy could really be a generational talent. So I'm happy to see him do his thing, and I'm happy to see our defense trying to fire on all cylinders, especially if they have support of the offense.
Absolutely.
And we got the Panthers next, so that's a good thing.
Right.
Andy Dalton's coming back. That's a little got to take a step back. That's a lot harder than Bryce Young
for sure.
Hopefully we can go there and take care of business.
If you do know one thing about Andy Dalton, he will be gunslinging. Yeah. So like they're definitely gonna throw 33, 35 times in the game.
They don't call him the Red Rifle for nothing.
Yeah. And Thielen is always. He just seems like wherever he goes, he figures out how to put up 1,000 yards.
Could it be Legette's big game?
Right.
First big game.
Right. I think actually it's really make or break. I mean, similar to Bryce Young, which I think we can even touch on for a second, just because that might be the biggest news in the NFL.
Yeah, man.
But I think it's a make or break game for Zamir White. You know, I think the reality is he's not a pass catching back. He's never going to be. Yeah. They were really relying, and this is always dangerous in terms of the modern day NFL game, like relying on a guy to be such a good runner that he doesn't have to be in there on third down potentially, unless he's already done so much good running that it's 3rd and 2. You know, it's like that's a lot in today's age. And Zamir never has been a guy for me that I felt like on the tape, even at Georgia, like he's had some good moments, but I never felt like he was a guy that was going to be like even necessarily a lead back, truthfully. Honestly. Like I thought he was going to be like that, you know, kind of switch it up, change of pace, power back, you know, definitely get it in goal line opportunities, kind of like a Gus Edwards. But like just watching it now, it's like, regardless of how they viewed it, I'm just shocked that, you know, with the offense you guys have, that they thought that there'd be some opportunity for success. And I think that they're understanding now that what we all saw, or most of us saw, is exactly what's happening, which is, I mean, there's just a skill deficiency. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, Zamir White is, he's a great young man, sounds like hard worker, but like, you gotta be something special with your feet.
We got 2 RB2 /
as
our start, like as the guys that we're working with. Like, so it's really just bad.
Because you gotta have sweet feet. You gotta be gifted in order to be a guy that's like, I'm not gonna ever be involved in passing downs. So you know, if he can't get it going against the Panthers, where I think you guys will be leading from start to finish.
I hope so. You know how the Raiders be.
True, but I'm
a fan, but damn.
Right. Well, you know, let's hope that we can build more on that in terms of, you know, you guys feeling a little better. But I think that, you know, for him, he needs to have a big game. No matter how you look at this. Zamir, dude, you got to get in the end zone.
Zamir.
You got to get in the end zone. I think you guys will be in the red zone a lot. Like, he's got to have one of those games where people go, all right, I'll get off his back. Because if not, it's not just fantasy owners that are going to be done.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be the whole Raiders.
Squad, he might need
Dunny.
to catch it. We'll just give you
Dunny. Let's get him out of here. So there's that, you know.
Meanwhile, we're like not even looking at people like Dalvin Cook or like Kareem Hunt. Like, do they just not want to come to the Raiders? Is it that bad? Because it's like, you would be a lead back if you came. Right now. But I guess they just, you know, they have the opportunities to go to like Kansas City and stuff like that. So, but maybe it's that. But I mean, you have a good chance with the Raiders too if you are the lead back that you think you are. Right.
And it's the same thing with the quarterback, where it was like, it feels like almost a similar situation where it's just like, what are you guys waiting on? Like, wait, what? Because you look at the quarterback situation, and we all thought the same thing too, where it's like, oh, these guys must all want to go to winners. Like, none of them ended up at winners. You know, so it's like, wait, okay, so if that wasn't on the table, then what's going on? Like, you're not gonna. So anyway, I would have loved to see, like, the more I've seen Justin Fields over in Pittsburgh, where he's just like scrambling around doing a bunch of. Right, it would be great to see him on the race. I would be shocked if they don't try. Like, I would still try. Like, if they're gonna bring Russell back, if y'all don't double back and go, hey, what do you want? Like, let's make it a 5th now. Look, you guys gave us 6. We should have did it. Let's pay you for your time. Here's a 5th.
That's simple. Pay attention. Log in.
Come on. On to the Niners, the most injury-riddled team in the United States of America. Yeah, I mean, I hope that, you know, it's the case of kind of how the Niners have looked a lot, where, like, we have debatable starts and usually end up getting the core right at the right time and then going on that run. But we've also had one of those years where it all went to shambles from the start. Joey Bosa went down week 2 against the Giants. Nick, my bad. Nick, God. Hey, Nick, don't tackle me now. I know what's going on. My fault. We've been out of here for a week or two. You know what I mean? So I'm a little rough. But he got me. My boy got me. So we're back. But yeah, Nick, you know, he went down on that turf. Obviously, that was the Achilles. And
several players went through after that.
We had a bunch of horrible injuries that year. Might have even been ACL, but regardless, that year, every week it looked like we had something to try to go, oh, well, maybe. And then it was just like, oh, no, that's actually like completely gone. This season, our defense is going to be amazing. You know, it looks like those guys are. Fred Warner's an absolute beast. You know, he's out there playing just out of his mind. He literally has 2 forced fumbles already in the year, and I think like 18 tackles or something. So he's everywhere for us. And we don't have Dre Greenlaw back yet, so I'll be very excited once we get him back. But I actually have loved what Devondre Campbell has done stepping in so far. And then, you know, I like all the new guys we brought in. Malcolm Floyd has been real nice, complimenting Nick Bosa. Obviously, I think, you know, Hargraves had a down season last year. I think anything that he does good this year will be a step forward from what we expected so much out of him last year, and he really didn't provide that big a step up from the Eric Armsteads, definitely Defoe Buckner was a different beast, but like, you get what I'm saying. We brought him in to like be that right below Defoe, basically. And this year, I think he's going to be a lot more of that. I think he's one of those guys that was destroyed by Steve Wilkes' system last year. And I think this year, you can already tell the guys are a lot more excited to play for the guy that we got, who was an in-house hire. Sorensen, who I think is going to be very admirable holding that space down. The offense, we had the craziest story of the offseason where Christian McCaffrey goes from having
pick of the draft for fantasy.
And it's in just such a Shanahan way. He goes from having a calf issue to Achilles tendonitis. Which, just if you guys don't know anything,
down the leg.
Yeah, like neither of us are doctors, but if you don't know the difference between that, like, you clearly have never heard any medical terms, because like that is serious. Like talking about a calf, like just like a strain, like a little pull, and then dealing with something that tendonitis is long term. Man, I'm prayers up for C-Mac. I see a lot of the community is like talking about, oh, this is the Carolina C-Mac, and last year was just and for me, I already, with what we gave up for him, I'm already happy with what we got. You know what I mean? That's how much I love C-Mac. But I firmly believe, obviously, he'll be back. I think we're resting him for the right times. I think the thing about this team is we're so stacked. Now, as I'm going to go a little further, I'll explain that we're starting to lose that stacked nature as a lot more of these guys are going down. But we have so many playmakers that Shanahan is known for like putting guys on the shelf for way longer than they should be, just to ensure that, one, he kind of is able to manipulate what's going on with our season, seeding-wise, all these other things, but also to make sure that when he feels like we want that stretch run to, like, boost off, that he knows that he has the full playbook. Yeah. So going into this week, like, I'm just learning about this, that Bosa is questionable and Charvarius Ward is questionable. And Kittle is most likely out. C-Mac's already gone. Debo is I think going to be gone as well, which leaves at this point Ayuk, who honestly that offseason, Juwan Jennings is a savage. But we know Juwan's going to do his thing. It's just more for me about Ayuk because he hasn't showed up yet this year. And it's clear that offseason, all that chasing the bag got your legs tired, huh? So it'll be, I think it's fate alone. Some of this makes me wonder if it's Shanahan because he's such a troll. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That, like, if he's going into it on some, like, I could bring him back, but, like, I'm not. Mm-hmm. You know, like, now you got to go get it done. Like, you can't be a bitch. You can't sit behind the rest of these guys and go for, 40 yards and expect to get a win. We need 120 and a touch. Yeesh. You know what I mean? And 40 was generous, bro. Like, where he was, how he was dropping those. That first week, he looked like he was with us in the crowd, just clapping.
All the other clap was his hands.
Yeah, God. So, I think that this is not the start any Niner fan would want. Obviously, I've been in this long enough to know, where you want to be getting good at is obviously the second half of the season. You want to survive that first portion, which is what the NFL is about. Injuries are inevitable. This rate of injuries, though, which we'll talk about in the section next for the fantasy portion of this, is astonishing. I mean, to the high-level players, it is questionable. It does make you really ask, like, is there something the league needs to do? Because the product, going from week 1 excitement to week 4, even though we're not there yet, it's like, sometimes it's a completely different league. Mm-hmm. So the Niners, what I will say is Purdy needs to step it up in these times. This is when you prove that you are ascending as the player that we know you are, right? And this is where you prove that it's not just always all the stars you got around you. And Jordan Mason's been a beast.
Yeah.
Coming in hot, probably the biggest ad in fantasy. I got him on most of my teams. But, like, he's one of these guys who I've always been big on. I think you've heard me talk about him a lot. Just a hard runner. He's gotten a lot of our third-rounders cut. You know what I mean? Which Niners are known for spending random third-rounders on running backs. But I think that he can continue to hold up. For me, he's already spoken of how tired he is. So it's a little scary because he's just like, I don't know how C-Mac did this every game. So, let's hope that we can get some other guys in there. Let them, breathe a little bit.
These guys ragged, man.
Right. Let them run a little bit, and then bring somebody else in. But that's the Niner update. Raiders, Niners, both early in the season, both at 1-1. We beat the Jets week 1, which was very, very impressive. The Jets are obviously a good team. They have Aaron Rodgers back. We smacked them, as always. Took Aaron Rodgers right out of his game. I think it was a good 32-19. And then the next week, we lost to the Vikings, which was atrocious to Sam Darnold. But it was in Minnesota where we haven't won somehow since 92. There's like a jinx for some reason on that. We've beat Minnesota since then, obviously, but not in Minnesota, which is very weird. And it doesn't happen very frequently. So that's why that game, is a little bit of a weird one. But the streak continues. It's very unfortunate. At the end of the day, I still feel a lot better about our roster than the Raiders. You look over. No matter what, when you look at it, because you got to look at the defense. When you watch the Raiders defense, there's a lot of holes there. Max Crosby's out on his own as usual. We thought there would be differences, but so far what we've seen is it's going to take the other team kind of doing what the Ravens did. You know what I mean? Just kind of destroying themselves in order for them to hang together. Because I predict they'll probably average like 16 to 20 points on the season in terms of like points per game. So if their defense isn't going to be really good, which it doesn't look like they are, then you got to play perfect. Whereas,
the Niners are just going to blame injuries. So
different
perspectives.
I mean, we're still going to win though. But that's the thing is we're still going to win.
They got the Rams next. They'll probably lose.
The Rams are 0-2. So we'll beat the Rams. They literally have no Cooper. For some reason. They have no Cooper Kupp.
Then Kyler Murray and Cardinals are going to beat them in that week. Kyler Murray's
well, in that case, then the Panthers will probably blow out the Raiders. Probably 35-0.
Lose their influx. You know.
All them teams you just named are influx.
Nah.
There's no Cooper Kupp. There literally is an injured
Marvin Harrison, Kyler Murray.
You named one pair.
Connor.
One pair. Let's be real. The outlook for the season. The outlook for the season.
That's how it's gonna be.
Nasty. Do you want me to pull up the Raiders
schedule? We can pull out the schedule because we're gonna be an advantage.
Shall we make
most of the
on live? Shall we make a bet of who finishes higher right now? You want to see the game come up?
That's fine.
Shall we make a bet?
All right. What is it?
No, I'm saying who finishes higher this year?
Better record. What do we bet?
Whatever, dub. You can make it right. You know what I'm saying for you. I know you don't want to put a lot. Well, who finishes a better record? Niners or Raiders? Now that the money's on the line.
Let us know in the comments what you think. I'm gonna say the Raiders. Obviously, this year is gonna be a better year for us.
This is how Niners fans make money.
And then the Niners, it's gonna be rough for them. Hopefully, they can get their players back. But if not, Brandon Ayuk might not be back. There's a little bit of indecision going on. They can't get over 100 yards, so things looking good over here. Big Raider game.
So we shaking on it. $20. Niner fans.
Lock it in.
Niner fans, take notes. If you want to make money, this is the time to do it. If you have Raider fan friends, do it.
Right there.
They're always at the same point.
1-1.
You got to catch the Raiders before they go below 500. You got to catch them below they go 500.
This is your year.
They're going to get it done. Welcome. Thank me later, Niner fans, who I allowed you to just make money. Let me know what bet you dropped. Let me know what you dropped. And let me know what you got off your favorite Raider fan. We're making that money this year. On to the next. We got a little college football. Or no, we can talk about fantasy teams if we want to. I got a lot of dead fantasy teams. Got a lot of live ones, but I got too many fantasy teams. So I'll let Mitch handle that section.
Well, I think I'm only going to really consider the ones. I got a few leagues, but just the one that we're in for the ESPN league. And then the sleeper. Have you done any drafts on the sleeper app? So I don't really know what's going on all that well in this one, but it's a dynasty league.
Oh,
you
that's
guys
right.
in the comments out there, let me know any kind of tips or strategies. But I thought I did pretty well in picking my team in terms of having them for a long time, because that's what I feel like I understand in dynasty is that I'm just going to have this team the whole time, and then when the draft comes around, it's going to be whatever free agents were out there and then whatever rookies were just drafted that year. So I got guys. I was able to get Jordan Mason. I actually drafted him like second to last round or last round. So it was basically just off me thinking like, hey, maybe Christian McCaffrey won't be able to play all the games, and he'll be in there and might do good. I wasn't even planning to play him, but maybe after a few years, CMC would be gone, and maybe Jordan Mason would be the guy.
Right. Or he could have got traded.
Yeah, exactly. Devon Achane has been going crazy for me. Another young guy, Jamar Chase, I was able to get, has not been having a good season so far. But if he's somebody who can turn it around, somebody can have for the next 5 years, who's going to be a beast, hopefully.
Yeah.
Also have Trey McBride at tight end, the young guy for the Cardinals. And then I also have Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be somebody I think is going to be great for me for a few years. And then Rashee Rice, unfortunately, is probably only going to be on my team for 1 year, judging off what he's going on off the field.
Right.
And then Chris Godwin, hopefully he can just have his twilight years.
Right.
Last few years with the boys.
Stretch it out.
And then on the bench, I got Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks with Jameson Williams and Rashid Shaheed. All guys who have been kind of doing good and are also guys who are down there at 25 and under. So I'm happy with that team. I think I did a pretty good job drafting that. I couldn't have predicted how good they've started this season. I was maybe thinking of years further going ahead.
Yeah.
When I drafted these guys, but it's
tough to think.
It's really promising to see that they're already kind of getting a role for their teams, and it seems like they're going to be guys who are going to be strong for their teams.
Right. And I mean, it's tough to think in terms of a dynasty sense in fantasy if you want, because you still have to compete on that year. You know what I
exactly.
mean? So it's hard, but yeah, I mean, it's funny with a guy like Rashee Rice, where that'd be like the only format not to take him like that.
I did that on accident.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, it's a dynasty.
and everybody would just be like,
and everybody in the draft was like, my man's going to jail.
My boy, did you not see?
This year he might win me a league. So,
yeah. And then you'd have to debate whether like in Dynasty. Well, I guess once the Dynasty League starts, then the rest of the draft.
Well, that's why I'm kind of happy that I have like Rashid Shaheed and Jameson Williams and those guys, where it's kind of like you guys could damn near be close. Maybe not Rasheed Rice, but pretty damn close.
Right. Absolutely. I think Shaheed for sure.
Shaheed's been going crazy. Derek Carr, what the fuck?
Right. He's serving.
Excuse my language.
He's serving. But compared to, I don't want to beat a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? But we all know comparatively, I don't know what they were thinking to move. I mean, can you imagine getting replaced by two dudes like that, though, after being like Derek Carr is soft. We all know what we know about Derek Carr and how he kind of like collapsed but like, that was crazy. Like I personally thought that they would show him enough respect to draft a dude. Mm-hmm. At least that, like throw a first round pick at something,
right?
To show him like we needed to move on, and we got closure. Mm-hmm. Now it's on some just everybody got a band-aid. You replaced me with fucking, and you let the rookie take my number. Aiden McConnell's like 4 and. Gardner Minshew's out here running around with the stash, acting like it's easy work. So it's crazy. And then, of course, I'm actually happy for him. I mean, they look like one of the strongest offenses this year, potentially the Saints right now. It's been 2 games. Football, we all know, is crazy how it goes and, pretty much sets at 4.
You know what I mean? They scored on their first, 15 drives of the season or something like that. It's crazy. And Alvin Kamara.
Is a beast. Resurgent. I also think Olave is just nasty, and I think that Hill is one of those guys that people they'll look a lot like the Niners offense. It's very weird. And I don't know. They have said that there's some comparables from but Dennis Allen. I'm not sure if he came from the tree or not, but there's a lot of that Swiss Army knife nature to the way that they play. It's really cool to watch, and I'm just glad that he's finally getting some shine, after people kind of wrote him off last year after that crappy year. Mm-hmm. But I always am a big fan of kind of sending people off in the right way. Even if the draft pick's not going to work, just be like, yo, this is, it's tradition.
All due respect.
It's tradition. We had to give it a go, but my fantasy team, all I'll say is I drafted C-Mac a lot first. I do have some teams that are doing well in the ESPN league. The ones that I drafted wide receiver heavy because there's just not as many injuries to wide receivers. Because no team that I have has had a running back that's serving both weeks, except for Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley is the only guy that I have who served twice.
I think our league I have Saquon and Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, they are both might be the 2 backs that have served both weeks, and so Saquon. Beast up to you. I'm hella glad I drafted him. Yeah. But everybody else has been 1 week done well and 1 week done really bad. So it's hard to, give a full-on clap for that when I just need a little more consistency. But that's how I kind of feel about the majority of my fantasy teams. Hence, a lot of them are 1-1, is the fact that they just one good week, one not so good week. So we'll see how that changes. But the injuries, if they keep up at this pace, I don't know. I already am in a lot of leagues that have 1 IR. I don't know. You can write in the comments if you have 2. You're probably blessed. I have 1. But my roster's already has 3 guys.
Ferguson and Njoku I had on a team. Now I'm on this team in our league. I have Ferguson and Njoku. They're both they might be gone. Ferguson might be able to come back this week, but it's looking rough.
Yeah, I have C-Mac and Pacheco. In one of my main leagues.
Damn, that's a good 1-2 combo.
Gone. And I had the strongest set of running backs going in. Right. Once you left the draft, everybody was like, dang, my 3rd running back's Rashard White, who's nice. And now he's my first running back. Now he's starting.
He's going to come back?
Yeah. If he wasn't going to start this week, it was all bad. Also, I picked up that guy Steele for Kansas City a lot on a lot of my teams.
Hopefully
we'll see. We'll see. He's also very versatile. He's one of those guys that's a Swiss Army knife. He can catch out the backfield as well. They like him a lot. He's pretty good by the numbers in terms of by average. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Need a larger sample size.
We got to see it to believe it.
On to the next. Now that we've cleared the NFL, everybody knows these first couple weeks, it gets a little beefy. Only reason I took my little shots at the Raiders is because, these first couple weeks, I love the tone that Raiders fans have when it's all good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even capping, because I hate that portion of the season sometimes. Doesn't always happen, but there are times where Raiders fans just check out, and it's not fun. It's not as fun. And they're just salty about NFL in general. I'd rather have y'all in the race for the long run. I'd rather let's duke it out. Let's duke it out. Let's duke it out. So all jokes aside, you know what I mean? It's also because I be clapping for y'all and my boy be sitting over here booing. So I be having to go crazy for my Niners. You know what I'm saying? On to college football, we have Cal, Big B's, 3-0, including probably the biggest win so far versus Auburn, which is an SEC team. So that is a very, very high-end team.
Good look.
Yeah. And they actually, believe it or not, were supposed to whoop us. And they have a formidable quarterback, Peyton Thorpe, who everybody was talking about going into the season. He's ranked pretty well. He's ranked pretty well on NCAA. Mm-hmm. Turns out he can't handle the Cal defense.
Yeah, too much. Laying the hat on him.
Turns out he wanted to give us that rock.
We SEC capable.
Turns out we wanted to get 3 picks on him.
Give me that. I need that.
Also,
who you throwing it to? That's not your team.
Quick shout out. Apparently, we have the best DB in the whole ACC.
Okay.
Noel Williams.
Oh,
Nohl. So I don't know. I might be killing it. Noel. It could be Noel, but it's Nohl. Williams. Boy is solid. He already has 2 picks on the season. Mm-hmm. Let's see him get an award this year.
I'm not gonna lie. When I went to the game against San Diego State on Saturday, our DBs comparatively to the last few years were
give me that. Come here,
blocking everything.
Seatbelt.
Yeah, they were doing that. Yeah, they were for sure doing that. So that was definitely nice.
So he's number 3. So I don't know if you maybe remember seeing him at all in it, but he's number 3. Okay. Just so you know for future reference.
For the next go games.
My boy's a season ticket holder.
Got Miami coming to town.
Woo! Yeah, I'm gonna have to slide to that.
That was going to be a tough one. Miami's number 8 right now. So,
and they got steppers.
If we stay undefeated and can beat Florida State after this next week, I think this week we play. Who do we play this week? I'm not even sure who we play.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, who do we play this week?
I hope it's not Florida State. I just heard so many people talking about.
Well, that. I don't know if we have this week off and then we play Florida State next week. I think that might be the deal. But yeah, I don't want to be the first team to lose to.
No, that's what we play next.
Yeah, so we don't play them until the 21st. So we have a bye this week.
That's this weekend.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we got to beat them.
Yeah,
we got to beat.
That's why everybody's been talking about that.
And there's way too many Florida State fans around here that I'd like to see. For some reason,
they're 0-3.
Known to people who are like, yeah, Florida State.
Let's be clear. They are 0-3.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be the team to lose to them first.
But even that, I don't want to see none of you fans talking about anything. There's nothing to talk about. You guys are 0-3. You haven't won a game. So, regardless of what's going down, we do not want to be the first. No. But you guys are 0-3, bro. So, the whole coming in and, we are Florida State, we already watched that. It didn't go well. Let's just drop it.
But then we have a bye in Miami.
Then we go back to – so, that's just nasty.
Yeah.
And Pitt is nice too.
And they're saying if we beat Florida State, that potentially we could get college game day
for Florida or for Miami.
Miami,
yeah, I could see that. So, but we'd be ranked 25.
Hey, but we'd have college game day coming, and that'd be the first time in history that
really because there was no game day back in the day.
Right. Because they did have game day back in the day.
And they never came for Cal when they were ranked all those years.
So
I found that to be shocking. That we never got a Cal USC, Cal Oregon. Wow. That's shameful if that's really awful.
We might have had a college game day at one of their places, but never in Berkeley.
Yeah. Berkeley, our facilities are.
I wonder where they would put it at.
Wildin'. That's what I'm saying. Our facilities are wildin'. It probably couldn't even be that close to Berkeley.
Rugby field or something like that?
Maybe. But I feel like it couldn't even be. It would probably be somewhere.
It's tough logistics.
It is. It is because you couldn't put them in the open like that.
And, there's the frats, and then there's the school, and then
they'd probably be somewhere like tucked off on the university or something. They'd probably give them like a media room. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet.
Or maybe they would just. It's just we don't have a big enough. Like we could put them on rugby.
They put them on the other football field. They look like lacrosse football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That top part.
Yeah.
If we could like somehow manage that security wise, because they would just be so wide in the open.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta be out in the open.
You know,
be outside. Be outside.
Yeah, dog. It's troubling. It's troubling. Cal, if you want to hire us, maybe we'll figure that out for you. Otherwise, I'm not putting any more thought into that. But we're 3-0, and I'm proud of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This program, there's been a lot of talk surrounding it in terms of, our coach, how is he progressing? Mm-hmm. Wilcox, is he handling business or not? And he's always seemed like a formidable coach. And so now I think we're finally seeing his full touch being put onto the way this team looks and feels. And so I hope it can last. We have seen before.
Nice, easy, quick starts, and then
me and Mitch have been around long enough to know, like, 3-0
don't really mean much when you're playing UC Davis and San Diego State.
Nothing to get like writing home about.
Because we can easily be 3-2 after the next two.
Oh, easy.
The next two games.
Oh, easy. I mean, honestly, these next 3 we could so easily be back at 500 because Pitt is nice too. Easy. So, but I actually do think this team is solid. I think our quarterback is way better than I thought in terms of just don't make mistakes. We're so used to Cal quarterbacks just making it. You're either gunslinging it, like even Jared Goff threw a lot of picks, and so this guy, he just seems smart. He seems to make the right reads. He seems to be one of those high IQ football players, but also has the physical to back it. He's not super athletic, but I'm glad he's like 6'4", got a little bit of weight on him, so he's not just going to die out there.
There was definitely some plays where more was to be desired in terms of picking the right guy to throw to.
100%.
So I would like to see him like scan the field a little bit better before pre-snap and everything, because we had a touchdown one time at number 10 down like the seam, like straight down, and that play had been open like a lot earlier in the game, and it was like bro was wide open on that play every time, and that's even why we ran it again and he ended up getting the touchdown. It's like coaches must have seen like, bro, he's gonna be wide open.
You have to do that.
A little bit better at pre-snap scanning on the field, but it's nice to see somebody who's not making a bunch of mistakes,
right?
Throwing interceptions,
and has a strong enough arm too to where you're not going to be like, this is just small ball.
Jay Knott, we need you to come back, man.
Jay Knott, man. I
hope you're doing all right.
I think he must have been injured coming into the season.
He's going to CMC.
Yeah, I'm convinced he's like there had to be something that they just never told us. Yeah, because that first game was weird anyway. You know what I mean? Like that was like not a super efficient game. 10 rushes, 42 yards. Not a Jay Knott kind of game.
Something's going on.
But hey, I'm still behind him, and I'll stand behind him regardless. We'll definitely be checking out some games in person. Give y'all the read on how this team progresses. Florida State, like we said, is huge. So let's hope we can get by them. That's the first thing. I do not want to be their first loss. So Cal, please handle business for us. In terms of everybody else across the country, obviously, this is still really early. It's still very early. Yeah, we got Archie Manning, who, once Quinn Ewers went down, this guy had 5 touchdowns, insane, to do that with not playing a full game.
Yeah.
And also to just be that poised after you've waited for so long. What that must have felt like.
Texas San Antonio, for anybody who was wondering, they played in that game for 5 touchdowns.
But let's be clear.
UTSA, not known for their sports at all.
But let's be clear, like Quinn Ewers was not serving them up. Let's be clear. Before that injury, they were not doing
the tapes back. I wasn't talking big on Quinn Ewers before.
No. I mean, I think Quinn Ewers can still be dope as a quarterback. I just don't think that, again, in that system, he's as prolific as somebody like Archie Manning. Because Archie Manning, as he proved in that game, is mobile.
Yeah.
And he has every ounce of Manning athleticism. Like, that's got to be Cooper, right?
Right. That's Coop. That's his son.
Because that's the legs.
Mm-hmm. That's what he missed out on, what he couldn't play.
Because, he was nice, too.
Yeah, Coop was nice, too.
Coop could have been 5-star.
Pioneer, the first.
route runner, looking like Cooper Kupp.
Well, past Cooper.
Right. Cooper Kupp looks like him.
Cooper Kupp's a little hobbled these days.
Yeah, true. Well, they both are, but in their prime, they both were, resembling each other. I think that this year it'll be very interesting to see because a lot of the names you may be like super used to, the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Clemsons, some of these bigger teams, Florida States.
Yeah.
These are going to be teams that may get it, but may not. They're not. There's no gimmies right now. I think that we're going to see kind of a new landscape of football. It'll be interesting to see the new playoff format as well with more teams. So potential for more upsets.
Yep.
I don't really feel like football in terms of like the playoff has been that big of an upset realm. It's kind of been a gimme when it's like, it's a 4-1. So I'm interested to see if that does anything to tweaking it.
No, Colorado top 25.
Colorado has been looking terrible.
What's going on up there? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like they've built a spread team, and that means that they're very small in the trenches. And there are teams that are just like, we're going to run through that. And they do have one of the most impressive sets of wide receivers, and they do have Shedeur, who I actually believe is a clear first-round pick. But I don't believe Shedeur is at the level of some of these other classes, like some of these other guys. Like, I actually think that this next class will be very interesting for the Raiders because of that, where I think that they can potentially – like, if the Raiders have a bad season, I still don't think they'll be up for first. So, like, this draft, I don't think the first 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
Nah.
I'd say 5th is the first where you start being like, because of that quarterback market value, you start looking there. And I think the Raiders could get there either via trade or if they had a terrible season, like their worst season that they could have this year, I think would place them around 5. Like there's no way they'd be worse than that. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it in that sense, let's say that they have a mediocre season, finish 11th, right? To get to 5, to get to 6, you don't really give up anything other than, let's say, a this year 2 and a next year 2.
Okay, but is this person who would be picked second as quarterback be that much worse?
No,
the first person. So would we even need the trade?
I think it just depends on if y'all fell in love. I think it just depends on if like Antonio Pierce fell in love with one of the guys. Like for me, I do. Ooh. I mean, I think that if it were me and I were looking at this class, I would be looking at Shedeur. I would be looking at Shedeur for the Raiders. I personally just believe that like he's playing with such a bad offensive line. Mm-hmm. And he's doing it's not that like he's doing things that are making him be like far and away the best prospect. Mm-hmm. What I believe is that
game manager.
No. What I believe is that what's holding him back is not allowing us to actually see what could be at the next level. And like I think with more time, I think they're gonna have to get another running back if Zamir doesn't step it up because like you're not gonna that's just not gonna help in the long run. But with that kind of stuff, and you have a DA, and you have the weapons that these guys have already there, I think Shedeur is the guy who would be able to get that 300 game consistently going for that team. Whereas a Beck, I think still could as well. But for me, there's gonna be none of that Mahomes scramble.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. There will be none of that. And I don't know if he will be a big 300-yard kind of guy in the NFL as much as being maybe a 250 to 275 smart, you know what I mean? And he still can get you the win. No, it is. It is. You couldn't go wrong either way. I'm just saying if I were the GM and I were to take a look and we're talking about at the 5. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to have to get the first quarterback off the board and make it like worth the while of being at 5, to me, that's Shedeur. But again, I also don't believe this is the strongest quarterback class. I just believe that Shedeur
Arch.
Definitely that. Like I thought about that as well. Like depending on how this season went for y'all, if it would make sense because you guys aren't that far away from being potentially in a tank mode for not that long. But like only person who I think would have to outlast the tank is Crosby.
Yeah,
and the real question would become if somebody offered what really could end up being offered for Max Crosby, and you guys really did want to do a reset. Would it not make him off? Cashing in on that where you may get 2 firsts? I mean, it's like, or a first, second, and a third. I mean, then you're looking at a crazy restart, and you're looking at lottery tickets for a generational talent.
Yeah.
And like you guys do, if you guys were getting Archie Manning, I mean, it'd just be a wrap, in my opinion. It'd be like, all right, it's the equivalent of the Colts getting Peyton.
Yeah.
It was just like, we just got to wait on it.
Just wait on it?
Yeah, just wait on it. But I love Shadora's fit for the Raiders. I honestly do. I think Pierce would do well with him. You know what I mean? I think that's another big part of it. And I think he's used to having an alpha receiver, which you want out of a guy who like feeds a guy. And I think that if DA were still around, he would be feeding him that rock, and he'd be really good at it. And with Bowers as well, I think it'd be nice. Soccer, we got big news. Big news. Raise the flags up. You can get a little patriotic if you want. USA, we got our guy, Mauricio Pochettino. It's official. And he had his first interview. And so we just wanted to say he has announced his expectations for this next team. Quarterfinals 2026 World Cup.
Okay. It's in the U.S., yeah?
Yeah. And Mexico and Canada.
Yeah, but it's in the U.S.
Yeah. I'm turning up for that one.
We got to go dumb. If we don't get to the quarterfinals, definitely going to be disappointed.
Oh, dude.
I haven't been able to see much of anybody besides Christian Pulisic, who's been absolutely killing it. And so I'm hoping with him being the talisman for the team and showing his, like, I can play in any nation, I hope the other guys will back him up and really serve and step it up, because even this last World Cup, he was kind of like, that we didn't get into, right?
No, but we oh no, last World Cup, yeah, we didn't go.
We didn't get into, so it's like
I thought we were talking about.
We don't want to waste our generational player with what is supposed to be one of our golden eras, right?
We lost to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, it's like, yo, bro, that's non-excusable. Like that's unacceptable. Like, come on, bro. They don't even have fields to play on, damn.
Bruh. They're like, I don't even want to pull up their population. Yeah, it's so small.
You gotta step it up.
So small.
Weston McKennie, you gotta be a star. This is a make it or break it time for you as well.
We need a healthy Adams. Tyler Adams.
Tyler Adams.
We need a healthy. Come on, healthy.
Who's the forward that we just got?
Flo Ballerin. Like he needs to step up too. Like or Balogun. Balogun. My bad.
Balogun. Yeah. Like these are the guys that we need to step up and say, hey, we're not just relying on Christian Pulisic to bring us a win. We are all going to feed off his greatness as well. So those guys, hopefully you're making strides. Hopefully you're able to play for your club teams.
Yep.
Because that's always a big thing where we want to play out in Europe, but we're not even on the starting roster. Damn near just in the reserves. So it's like, you need that on the field experience to be able to go against the guys when it comes down to World Cups, because majority of these other countries that are making it, all their guys are playing. All their guys are playing in club all year, all
starters, like important players.
Yeah. So if y'all really are trying to make the FIFA organization of USA a much better product and a much better team on the field, like players, y'all got to start showing it too. It can't just. Y'all got Pochettino now.
Bruh, no excuses.
Blood, like,
y'all
are finally getting what everybody is wondering why we haven't got is top quality coaching from over there. Because clearly our coaches over here cannot do it. You know what I'm saying? But now we're finally realizing, hey, let's go over there and hire them so they can teach us something. Let's feed off of it. Hopefully grow for this next World Cup.
And he's looking at you, Gio Reyna.
Yeah.
Where? Come on, dog. Like, this is, I know you're still super young, but that whole thing that happened with the last coach, you never bounced back.
Let it go.
You never bounced back.
Full reset.
Come on. Let's get it. You're like 21, man. Just come on. I believe we have a shot at the quarterfinals, but we need more depth, and I think he made the perfect points where it's just these guys are good enough. But they got to actually show up when it matters. Like, none of them show up at the same time. They just don't. Like, they don't play full games. And, like, we do need at the end of the day, to me, we need an attacking midfielder still that like can be prolific enough to score. By 2026, there will be a new influx of some youngsters that are coming up that are solid. But what I will say about this next camp of players is that if we don't have 2 players at each position that we feel okay about, we really are going to have a very hard time without playing perfect going to the quarterfinals. So that can be a good like starting point. And just looking at the team, the 23, whatever the roster we end up checking in to that hotel to play those games. If you don't feel good about 2 at each place, and you can take maybe 2 positions off the field, everywhere else though, you better have 2 that you feel good about.
And defense, oh my Lord.
Oh, it's bad.
Defenders,
it's bad.
Oh my Lord. I even see y'all in Europe when y'all play for y'all clubs.
It's bad.
Y'all be looking like trash.
It's bad.
Y'all need to step it up, or we need to get some new guys.
I mean, we need
them dudes are statues.
There's no debate.
Statues back there.
There's no debate.
And then the wingers for the backs are more like
they're
offensive
good.
Guys.
Yeah.
More than defenders. So it's like
I'm not mad at Anthony Robinson. I will say the left back, one of my favorite players on the team. And then if Serginho Dest, whenever he can stay healthy. Yeah. Oh no. Walker Zimmerman, and then the other guy is Tim Ream.
Oh my
God. Terrible.
All I see is highlights of you getting just
right. He's actually in the Premier League.
That's what I'm saying. He gets. Wasn't he on? Isn't he on like?
He was on Fulham, I think.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I will say like you've helped us in qualifiers, like because we're so bad always. That like your experience and your calm nature really did help that super young team. But like also it's very much so a reflection of how poor we are overall at center back. Like the United States is just not producing good center backs. We do have a couple now, like Chris Richards. If he can stay healthy, he's played for Bayern Munich. This dude is good.
Yeah.
But, like, he also – I don't know what it is with our training staff. Hopefully, Pochettino's bringing in change with that as well. We never keep our guys healthy throughout the full season. Like, they never make it through a rotation without us losing a good percentage of our guys. So, let's hope that changes. I hear your hopes. Pochettino, lead us to the glory land. You got a long way to go, though, my friend. I don't know if you've really took a long look at that roster. Let's be real. But, like, honestly, I love the idea, and he is top tier. We've seen the guy do real stuff within soccer. And what it will do as well is some of these guys who have dual citizenship, they're going to take a longer look now.
Yeah.
They're going to take a longer look. Because I guarantee nobody wanted to play for Berhalter. No. You could call around the globe, and everybody was aware I'm Gucci. Yeah, I'm good. You guys got it. Handle that. So let's hope that that's a big step up. Champions League is the last portion of soccer that we got to talk about today. It's back. I'm not going to go over the scores that have happened today because we've already had our first games, but I just want to talk about this new structure and just go over it real fast for y'all. So
how Barca do?
Barca lost. Barca got a red card.
Yeah,
and you see how my boy be doing
I really didn't even know that.
You see how my boy be doing
me. Just asking, hoping he was going to say we got it.
Right.
I really didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got a red card. Who you guys even pull? Monaco.
I mean, that's still a good thing, though.
Yeah, so and they bring up, they're always young. It's just crazy. Yeah. But, like, we got a red card in the first 10 minutes. Same thing. Bro, this is back-to-back, too. Like, Araujo got one the last time, and then this time it was Eric Garcia. And it was really Mark Anthony Ter Stegen. It was or Mark and whatever your name is. You know what I'm saying? It was your fault, bro. Matt's because bro, the pass. I'll show him after he's gonna die. The pass you made, bro, in the first 15 minutes of a Champions League game, you weren't there. You were not at the game. Clearly, you did not come to play. You did not come to compete. You were not thinking clearly. And you now have, like, already thrown a huge monkey wrench into Barca's journey through this new format. But to have a team, first game, within the first 15 minutes, back-to-back in 2 different Champions Leagues, dude, red cards, you're cursed. Like, there's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say. Insane. So
it's looking like Colombia during
the
tournament,
bro. And I've always liked Ter Stegen, but like, you got to go now. Like at this point, I've seen enough. The stuff you're doing with your feet is absurd, my friend. You're a goalkeeper. Get it off your foot, brother. It's okay. You're not out there for a reason.
You're not that guy,
bruh. Those guys. Those guys are out there for a reason. Just get it to Lamine Yamal. Let us move forward, please. All right. But this new structure, I'll just go over it very, very fast because we got more things to go to. It's just going to change from 32 to 36. Now you're going to play 8 games instead of playing just teams in your group. You're going to play teams from your group, but also a random 4. That'll make your 8 in total. And then once you get out of that based on points, the top 8 will be ready and chilling at the next phase, while the bottom 8 will then go into knockout rounds in order to fill in the 16. I think it's not bottom 8. I think it's 24 in total, and then that last 8 is what narrows it down to 16.
Okay.
So apologies, because otherwise that wouldn't have ended with 16.
We're getting our math right.
Exactly. And then from the 16, it is the same kind of steps that we've always known, where you're just going to be in knockout rounds, and you're going to try to advance onto the final.
That's the 2 aggregate.
Yes, sir. And lastly, of course, we got to give baseball. They're on that last stretch. We just got to give a shout out to Ohtani and let my boy Mitch really take it away, because we have some history that has been made.
Yeah, man. We're down to the nitty gritty. Last 10 games of the season, I believe, coming up. We got our notables. Obviously, we got the Yankees going to be in it. We got the Cleveland Guardians. Still the NL West. We're not sure who else is going to be in there, but we know the Astros are going to be on top there.
Which is crazy.
After that start to the season. All the way back after a terrible beginning of the season. Just shows how slacking the Mariners and the Rangers have been this year.
Right.
Hasn't been good. Tough to see the Rangers go under 500 after winning the World Series last season.
With the same team.
Injuries didn't help them, especially with pitching, in terms of losing DeGrom and losing Scherzer. But those guys have been getting hurt, and they're damn near on their way out. So we'll see how they can revamp. I know they got both the Vandy boys. They got Leiter, and they have Kamar Rocker.
Yep.
So
he's a beast.
Hopefully they can beat people that can solidify their rotation in the future. In the NL, we got Philadelphia. Phillies are going to be on top.
They've been there the whole year, right?
Yeah, the whole year. We got the Milwaukee Brewers coming out of a solid NL Central. And then
they really cleared that.
Yeah, they cleared that. Chicago Cubs and Cardinals fell off big time. All their young prospects have not been panning out. It's basically been that mean.
Right. And dang, the Reds have just not been after all that. Bro, because they get so much news.
Yeah.
And they're 75 and 80.
Encarnacion Strand has basically been hurt the whole season.
Same with what's that other guy, McCain?
Matt McCain didn't play all season, so they're going to have to figure it out, see who they're going to keep. This whole year, they were dangling Jonathan India and never got rid of him. So we'll see if they finally decide to let go after this season, because they're going to have Matt McClain back, hopefully. I'm pretty sure that's probably why they kept him around so long. They didn't have that option.
Right.
And then in the NL West, you got the Dodgers with stinking Dodgers. And you got our big
one behind
future Hall of Fame player, Shohei Ohtani.
Man.
Breaking records, being the first player, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, had a 6-for-6 game, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, and a single, 10 RBIs.
People said that's the best game.
Damn near best game. It gets you into the 50-50 club. I mean, they won 20-4, like 24-4 or something like that. I mean, a hell of a game. Only game I can think that's close to that is when Sean Green for the Dodgers as well back in the day.
Sean Green was
against the Brewers. Hit 5 home. I want to say hit 4 or 5 home runs.
Yeah, I remember that, bro. Oh my god, that was crazy.
That's the only thing close to this. I think this.
But it had less meaning.
Yeah, there was less meaning in that. This one is a Hall of Fame season by Ohtani. He's been killing it for the Dodgers.
Beast.
His stats are 51 home runs, 123 runs, 120 RBIs, 50 stolen bases on a 294 average. I mean, this guy's not even pitching this season, and that's what he's going to be doing moving forward. So if he can, just imagine having this kind of game at the plate and you threw a complete game shutout. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the dude is just limitless out there. He's absolutely killing it. And the only person close to him is another behemoth at 6'7", 250 pounds.
Judge.
And Aaron Judge, who this season, 53 home runs, 114 runs, 136 RBIs, batting .321. I mean, it really doesn't get any better than that. I mean, we were hoping that he could get to 60. Still some games left to see if he can get there. Pace definitely slowed down over the last month or so, but I mean, geez, what more can you ask for? 53 bombs.
Isn't that average?
And you got a guy behind you in Juan Soto, 40 home runs, 120 runs, 103 RBIs, batting .286. I mean, that's going to be amazing to watch in the playoffs. And it'll be crazy to watch a New York Yankees versus Los Angeles Dodgers World 100%. Series, because I think that would be the top ratings. I mean, the most superstars in the biggest cities. You can't really beat that. So I'm sure the MLB is hoping
they're trying to bring baseball back.
Hopefully, I mean, the only other team that I can see, definitely. And the only other team I can really see putting a damper in that is the Phillies. Yeah. They are a very good playoff team.
And they have a great fan base.
And they have a great fan base. So I think that's another group that would be exciting to see.
So let me ask you a question about Ohtani. Do you think because he's not playing any pitching this year, do you think that that's benefiting his hitting? Do you think, because this is by far and away his best offensive season?
For sure. I mean, you can't. This just goes to show that how difficult it is to do both and why there's not more guys who do both. Because there's plenty of these dudes in the MLB who in high school or in college even were pitching and hitting as well. It's just, it gets so difficult at a certain point that you got to lock in on one or the other. And this kind of just shows how when you do take one out of the play, how well you could probably do it with just focusing on one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think. I think him being able to sit there and focus on just hitting, just watching film on pitchers, not having to worry about fatigue and stuff like that when it came to pitching. That's a lot to think about for any starting rotation pitcher. I mean, guys go from throwing once a week in college to then once every 4 days when it comes to MLB. And that's a drastic change where guys who are like, oh, yeah, I have that extra day to chill. You don't have that anymore, and you got to be in the kind of shape to where you can recover in time. So it's a lot on the body to have to do both. So I think this helped him be able to be more loose and just more focused and locked in.
Yeah.
Just hitting.
That makes a lot of sense. And they were saying that like his stealing and a lot of his season has been reflective of how much he knows of pitching. Mm-hmm. So then how much he's able to read in a pitcher. Oh, yeah. Which is, because he's not that fast.
But he's also another big guy like Ellie De La Cruz, where it's like, if you have the nice long strides and you have good jumps, you'll get there in time.
Right, with the right timing.
But yeah, you're right with having that good timing because he's been a pitcher for so long.
Can read it. Yeah. Yep. Last thing before we leave, shout out to Woj. No more Woj bombs. Mm-mm. It is over. My boy is out of there going to what? St. Bonaventure?
St. Bonaventure, man. This NIL deal got GMs in college.
That's his alumni. You know, it's got to be something personal because, from what I heard, he's walking away from $30 million. So I didn't realize that he was getting that from
St. Bonaventure might have some big money. Who knows?
Man. But he's also, like, taking a GM role. So it's clearly he's, like, just trying to shift. And apparently what they were saying is his phone, the lifestyle that you have to be on when you are that guy, you never sleep. Yeah. Nothing. You never get any time off. And that's why it does make sense that he'd be compensated $30 million. So congrats to you, Woj. I hope that works out for you, my boy. It's been great to get those Woj bombs over time. I'm not excited about just having Shams. Oh, my God. I do not want that as the only operator of this news. But, we just want to make sure as fellow pushers of this sports media that we give a shout-out when a shout-out is due. So salute to you. Enjoy your new ventures. Yes, and to all of us here at the Say Something fam, and back to y'all sitting on the couch or wherever you are at, joining and becoming the Say Something fam. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment below to get this stuff circulating in the algorithms, the only way that we can get to other people. And we will be back next week, the usual time. We'll make sure we're there, and we will be super healthy and super, super ready to catch up on all the stuff that comes this next week for y'all, which will be basically a big, big NFL update.
Yes,
so
sir.
Catch y'all next week. Much love. We out.